Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Buffalo SportsCenter. I am Don, and today, there's been some news about the Buffalo Sabres, and it seems like the team is a little bit in a feud with the fan base. But let me get to that in a quick second. Before I do, though, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Discord, TikTok, of course, here on the YouTube. All of those links are in the description. Check them out. But let's talk a little bit about this whole feud emerging between the Buffalo Sabres and the fan base. So there was a Buffalo News article just posted not too long ago. It was actually on, it was a Sunday morning or Saturday morning, I can't remember. But by Mike Harrington. A lot of people have thoughts on the journalist Mike Harrington, sports columnist for the Buffalo Sabres, but that's not the point. What the point is that in his article, he talked a little bit about how ever since a certain game, the Sabres have not gone to center ice and raised their sticks to commend the fans after their home wins. Now, he's saying that like the Sabres win at home a whole lot. We don't, not really. Sabres barely ever win at home. There's not much life in the arena. There is a toxic environment because after every period that the Sabres are losing, the fans are booing. There seems to be a real toxic mess right now at the arena. And for a team that has been desperately trying to change the culture, they really seem to have taken a step back this season, a big, massive step back. But in the article, Mike Harrington discusses a little bit about how fans have been complaining a little bit that the Sabres do not go to center ice. And then, according to a couple of his sources, this is all because of the one game, a certain game that shall live in infamy, when the Sabres lost 9-4 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, that game. I think we all remember that game on December 19th. I live streamed that one. And me and Cal, we were on the live stream. We were also chanting, "Fire Donnie," just like the fans were in the arena. We're standing in solidarity with the rest of the fan base. So the fans were chanting "Fire Donnie" in the stands, and the Sabres team really took exception to that. So in response, the locker room came together and decided, you know what? Because of that outburst, we're going to snub the fans post-game after each home victory. There has been a, quote, response of a post-game snub of the fans. This is a direct quote from the article. And by the way, folks, I highly recommend that you check out the article for yourself. It's behind the Buffalo News paywall. I was lucky to be able to, I guess I had a free article today, so I was able to read it. But if you don't, doesn't matter. If you can, check it out. But here's a direct quote from the article. Quote, "Look, we love our fans because when this place gets going, it seriously gets going," the veteran player said. "And I get all the frustration of how many years it's been, but most guys in here haven't been here very long. Kevin Adams hasn't been. Donnie hasn't been. You can't put that all on them." Well, and you know what? Hey, that's, I guess, kind of fair, but when you're a team that has expectations, that had playoff expectations going into the season, of course the fans are going to be a little upset, and it's been 13 years, and most of these guys, that veteran player is right. Outside of Zemgus Girgensons, the rest of this team hasn't been here for more than 6-7 years. Kyle Poso is the next longest tenured player after Girgensons, by the way. So yeah, I get that the team's like, no, guys, why are you mad at us? We didn't cause all the previous pain. The problem is they're still causing pain in the present. And this is a team that promised not to do something like that again. Not again. Not to this fan base. A fan base that clearly has gotten impatient, fed up, and quite frankly, apathetic towards this team. But the player, there's a couple more quotes that I want to read off of here. There's another quote here from the same veteran player that Mike Harrington talked to. The quote is, quote, "Columbus was a terrible game, but it was one game, and that should have been directed at us and not Donnie. This team keeps coming back. Look what happened against Toronto, and we know what teams quitting on coaches look like. We've seen it in other places this season." Which, again, that's not wrong either. St. Louis did it to their coach. Edmonton did it to their coach. Ottawa did it to their coach. A lot of teams have already quit on their coaches this season. Checked out, completely gone, waved the white flag on the season. The only team that seems to have been able to bounce back after their coaching change was Edmonton. And you could say Minnesota to a certain degree. They've been significantly better under their new coach and John Hines, but Edmonton is the only team that has truly gotten back on track. A playoff team that underwhelmed in the early part of the season that is now back to being in a playoff spot and have their plans back on track. So, right, I get all of that. The problem with all of this is you can't be mad at the fans for being mad at you. You can't say you don't care about the fans complaining about you and then promptly come back and snub the fans every post-game win. You can't do that. And the fans are on your side. And to say that you're going to stand out of solidarity with the coach, I get it, but this is a team that has underwhelmed. This is a team that has completely failed in comparison to their preseason expectations. So to then say to the fans, oh, come on, how could you expect anything more out of us? We're trying our best here. You clearly aren't. When the effort of the team is being questioned in multiple games, namely that Anaheim Ducks game on the West Coast trip, fans have a right to question the effort. Fans have a right to boo. Fans have a right to be upset with the team. And to turn back and say, no, the problem's not with us. The problem is with the fans being upset at us. That's just being mentally soft. That's being completely soft. That's not solving any issues. And, I mean, it's just not a good situation to be in. This is the same crap that doomed the previous big potential core of the Buffalo Sabres with Eichel, O'Reilly, Evander Kane, Sam Reinhart, Ristolainen, Robin Lehner. They were doomed because of this same toxicity that permeates in KeyBank Center. It's just really frustrating to see the players again say, look, we haven't been here that long. Yes, but when you've been here, the best thing you had was being 1 point short of a playoff spot. Even in your best season, this team still lost. They still couldn't even make benchmark basic marks on the season. They couldn't even get to the playoffs. So I really am confused why they're snubbing the fans. Why are you trying to pick a fight with the fans when you should be picking a fight with yourselves? These players need to understand, and I'm sure they do, so most of them probably do, that this season has not been good enough. That they have not played consistently enough in front of good goaltending and decent enough defense. It just hasn't happened. The offense has completely dried up. It's just really confusing, again, to see the players, instead of looking introspectively, snub the fans. The fans will be on your side if you start winning, if you start putting in consistent effort. You put in consistent results. And there's another factor to all of this, too. The fans are also doubly frustrated, not just because of the on-ice experience, but the off-ice. The tickets are way too expensive for how the team is playing. Parking is not good enough. The in-arena concession stands are still not good enough. The arena is dilapidated. It clearly needs renovations. The seats are crumbling. It's just, the arena is in poor quality. So you take all of those subpar qualities and you combine it with the subpar performance on the ice, you get a really bad mixture, a really bad perfect storm for what has been this season. And it's, Mike Harrington says in this article that it's a really slippery slope to complain about the fans. Steve Ott did it back in 2013. That happened. Steve Ott got blown up by the fan base for doing that. And Mike Harrington, this is a good quote that he has towards the middle of his article. He says, quote, ultimately, fans can direct their ire at who they want. Granato's performance is like everybody else's this season, and in that it hasn't been good enough. He's right. It hasn't been good enough. It hasn't been anywhere close to the expectations that we were promised before this season. This season was supposed to be the year where everything finally changed, that the breakthrough would finally happen. People around the NHL also agreed. That's why Eric Johnson came to Buffalo. That's why Connor Clifton came to Buffalo. But it's clear that those additions weren't enough. And I think the fans have a right to be upset. It's been 13 years of the same crap. New faces, new experience, same results. Same things keep happening. History just keeps repeating itself over and over and over. If the team really wants to show solidarity with their head coach, start winning consistently. Put together some results. When you can't win 3 games in a row in a given span throughout the entire season, you can't tell the fans not to be upset with that. You have to be upset with yourselves about that. Okay? You have to win on the ice. That is the best way to show solidarity with your head coach. Until you can do something like that, these players need to stop being mentally soft, to wake up and realize the problems don't lie outside the arena. The problems don't lie in a toxic mess. It lies in that locker room, in a locker room full of soft players, players that are all buddy-buddy with each other, but no one's really pushing each other. If they were truly pushing each other, then the same results wouldn't keep happening over and over again. You wouldn't keep winning 2, losing 2, winning 2, losing 2. It's just not been good enough. So, before the Sabres again complain about the fans, before they go public, before a veteran player says this sort of stuff to Mike Harrington, why don't they, for a quick second, look within themselves and say, if we just started winning consistently, then the fans would get behind us. That's all it takes. Winning solves all issues. But this team hasn't done that. When you're not winning games, you're not doing your jobs. And this team is not doing their jobs. And then they complain when we tell them that they're not doing their jobs. Most people in this situation, if you weren't in hockey, if you're in the real world, you'd be fired a long time ago. So don't tell me, and don't tell any of this other fan base that you're upset about our reactions to your play. No, don't do that. No, you're not going to do that. How about you start improving yourselves before you complain about us? That's it for me. You won't see me that mad again for a little while, folks. But anyways, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I was Don. This is Buffalo SportsCenter. Make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. And check out a couple of the videos next to my head here. And also check out Mike Harrington's full article. Link to that will also be in the description below. Thank you, Mike Harrington, for a good, very well-written article. Anyways, goodbye, folks.